Today we'll be checking out MusicLab's RealStrat virtual guitar, and we have another giveaway. Woohoo! Hi folks, I'm Mike and I hope you're well. Now I'm very happy, very excited, but I'll spare you my dancing. But we do have another giveaway this week, and this time is for MusicLab's collection of virtual instruments. Yes, you can pick any one of those if you are the winner of this giveaway. But we will be doing a review of RealStrat by MusicLab's, which is an awesome virtual guitar that you should check out. Now, I want to say before I get into that our giveaway from last week is still active. So if you're watching this video within about 24 to 36 hours of release, you still have time to get a chance for our giveaway from last week, which was acoustic samples, V-Tines, Rhodes piano. So definitely check that out, maybe before you watch this video, and come back and see me afterwards, because you'll want to get in there quick. I will be making an announcement about the winner from that very soon. Now, I'd like to get stuck in with the review about this RealStrat virtual instrument today, but you'll be wanting to know how you can get your hands on one of these instruments. Well, you can find out at the end of this video, which I know you're not just going to jump to the end and have a look at, but I will tell you there. In the meantime, have a look at my review of this awesome instrument. So folks, here we are in Studio One, my door of choice, but it doesn't matter which door you're using, RealStrat's going to be the same in all of them. Now, the first thing you might notice is I've actually got two RealStrat plugins open on my screen, and that's for a couple of reasons. One, in the demo I'm about to play you, I've got two guitar parts in there. And second of all, when you get this plugin, you actually do get two versions with it. You get RealStrat Standard and RealStrat Elite. They're largely the same in functionality, although there's some differences, and they do sound quite different, and they have some different abilities to change the sound as well. So with that said, let's talk about the demo I'm about to play you. I put this together within about 2 or 3 hours of me first using this plugin. So it's probably not the best that you could get out of it, but it does give a sort of a reasonable representation of the sound. Now, those of you who watch my channel regularly know that I normally like to leave the full demo of the plugin in context towards the end of the video to sort of show you the whole thing put together. Today I've decided to play it in context at the beginning, and I think there's a really good reason for that, which I'd like to talk about after I've played it. Now, I'm going to play it, I promise, in a moment. It lasts for about a minute. I want you to have a listen to some of the articulations, particularly on the lead guitar part. There's a number of different articulations I've put in there to try and demonstrate to you some of the different sounds that you can get out of this plugin. So let's have a play. Okay, so as you can hear, well, certainly in my opinion, that's not bad at all. I realise there's always going to be someone in the comments who is going to say they're just not there yet, and I sort of agree with you because I'm a guitar player and I can hear the subtleties which are missing. But if you're a keyboard player, you can't play the guitar, you don't have access to a guitarist, and you want to get that sort of sound into your music, then I think this is a really decent option. And if you take some time and you understand what you're doing, then you can get better results. And that is partly why I started off by showing you the full demo, and I'll explain why. If you simply open up this plugin the first time you get it, and you just hit, say, a little triad on your keyboard, you're going to get something like this. And you're probably not going to be very impressed by that or think it sounds very much like a real guitar. And there's a few really, really good reasons for that. First of all, you need to know what you're doing with guitar plugins. You need to use them in the right way. If you just play them like a piano or a keyboard, you will not get good results. Now, I've actually made another video about this, and I concentrated mostly on acoustic guitar, so I'll put a link somewhere to that video. Have a look at that so you can begin to understand the best way to use guitar instruments. And then furthermore, there's some extras for electric guitar which are fairly significant. First of all, what we're listening to here is a completely dry electric guitar. DI'd into a desk, it sounds like, you know, and no one's going to do that with an electric guitar. Electric guitars always go through an amplifier, and so they are massively affected in sound by the amplifier and the effects they go through. So this is just, if you like, a kind of a DI'd electric guitar, which no one ever uses on a recording. Now, you may be saying to yourself, well, does that mean I need to get an amp simulator, etc., to go with this plugin? No, you don't, because with this plugin, you always get a complimentary copy of a plugin called Amplitude Custom Shop. Now, I will just open that up for this guitar, and I'll switch it on. Now, I'm just going to, this is just in a sort of a default setting, and I'm just going to play the guitar again. And you'll hear right away it's beginning to take on more of the characteristics of an electric guitar. That's because it's going through this amp simulator. Now, although this isn't technically a part of the plugin, you do get it with it. And I don't want to go over this in much detail, but it's a really, really nice amp simulator and effects package, and you get quite a bit for free with it. So you get a choice of 3 or 4 amps, I think. You get to add some effects. So you could add some effects in here, such as, say, a distortion or overdrive pedal, like so. And you can also change things like the cabinet that you're using, and you can even go ahead and move the microphones around, use different microphones. So it's a really, really awesome thing to get with your guitar plugin. You could use different ones, things like Guitar Rig or Bias Effects, and you'll get great results from those as well. But I happen to think that this one that they give you with it is pretty good. So that makes a really big difference to the sound. Over here on our lead guitar, I've got it set up with a different amplifier, and you will be able to hear, if I switch over, so that is sort of a little bit loaded up with effects. In the demo, I actually used an overdrive, and I used a wah-wah, which kicked in the middle part, and I've actually got a delay rack effect on that as well. So there's an awful lot you can do to improve this and make it more and more realistic. So going back to some of the basics, and one of the reasons it won't sound all that great when you just hit a triad like so, I mean it's okay, is that really guitars have particular voicings, particular inversions of chords which they typically use, and they can be quite different to piano voicings. So it's a really good idea to become familiar with some of those voicings. One of the things I do like about this plugin is if we move out of the solo mode over to the chord mode, it does help you out a fair amount. Now if I just play in this chord mode a single note of C, it plays what we call an open C chord on the guitar, and you can hear right away it's beginning to sound quite a lot more like a guitar, a real guitar. Now, having said that, here's where the knowledge counts, because on an electric guitar, it's not quite so common to play these kind of open chords. We do, but not as common. So it can become really important in your music to look at the different inversions, and they've really helped you out here because they've got these controls for chord positions. So you have your open C chord with that voicing, and then the next one up kind kind of around about the 3rd fret is this version of C. Further up the neck again, and so on and so forth. So just by playing a single note or a combination of notes, you can get lots and lots of chords. What I mean by a combination of notes is, for example, the single note is a major chord, but if I play it with a combination of the note below it, you can hear that's a 7th chord, or the next note below that, it plays the minor version of the chord again, with all those different chord positions. So that's really kind of a useful thing, and you do sort of out the box if you just want to put some basic chords in your songs, then that could be a good start for you. So one of the things that's going to help you, particularly in a lead guitar part, is using the articulations which you have on the guitar. So guitarists use a number of different things to make the guitar kind of sing and to make it sort of sound smooth. They are hammer-ons, pull-offs, they slide into notes. The tremolo arm on a Strat, of course, is really important. Harmonics, muting, all of those kinds of things. And what they do with RealStrat is make those available firstly on key switches. So if we click on key switches here, we've got a number of different ways of turning these on. So I've set this up for the song, for example, over here, where I want it to be played in the 13th fret position at one point, and I want it to be played in the 10th fret position at another point, and that gave me some different tones to the guitar at different points. I also set it up so that I could put on some muting and trigger feedback and harmonics. In fact, I didn't do the harmonics there, I lie to you. I've actually set the harmonics up over here, and that's on the velocity effects. So the velocity effects have kind of two main areas. One, there are effects which kick in above a certain velocity, and others which kick in below a certain velocity. So if I wanted to, and I'm going to play it live, if I want to hit a note really hard, or with the way I've got it set up, it will play a harmonic. If I hit it really, really softly, it'll play a muted version of the note, and then just a regular sort of velocity just gives me a regular note. So that's a really, really useful way of doing it. You've got a number of different options there in the way that you do it. So I found that to be reasonably good for putting together a more realistic sounding guitar. So you just want to be thinking about that. The way I do it is I tend to play in the basic melody of the guitar first. If I can do it live and play some key switches, I do. But I sort of tidy it up afterwards. If I just want to go, I want that note to be a harmonic, for example, I actually go into the piano roll and then pop those key switches in there. You may be able to do it if you're a better keyboard player than me. Just play it in live once you get to know those key switches. So overall, I found it to be sort of quite a useful plugin to use. Now, I have to say, I'm not even scratching the surface of all the functionality of these plugins. As you can see, lots and lots of choices on the interface. And there's really, really good manual which comes with it. Quite a big manual, but really, really useful. And I think it is one of those plugins where if you just muck around with it out of the box, so to speak, you'll get so far, but you get an awful lot more out of it if you take a little bit of time to read some of the manual to do some specific things. So you do kind of have to invest a little bit of your time into this plugin. I do want to talk about just a couple of features though, which I found quite interesting. One I haven't used, but if you look over here, there's an option on the standard plugin, and that's the joystick option. Now, the reason I haven't used it is because I don't have the hardware available, but if you've seen those things on consoles, I think it's called Guitar Hero, and you have like a plastic guitar controller that comes with those games, I guess you call them. You can actually use those and plug them into your PC and use them as a controller for this guitar plugin. Now, I may well give this a go if I can find a second-hand one of these controllers, because I think this could be quite fascinating, because one of the barriers to making a guitar plugin sort of sound any good at all is the fact that you're doing it on a keyboard which is so far removed from the motion of actually, say, strumming a guitar or something like that. So I'll be interested to try that out, and if I do, I'll be sure to give you an update. So that's just an interesting thing. And I do believe they mention in there that the best controller to have is the PlayStation 3 version. I think that's got some features which some of the other controllers might not have available. Now, one of the other things that I've played around with quite a lot is the patterns. Now, what patterns enable you to do is to select a sort of a typical pattern from their library. So we'll go for, say, a blues pattern. We'll pop it in there, and I will just play some basic chords on the keyboard. And you can see that that's going to give you some basic patterns for different types of music. Now, once you've, there's a couple of things you can do. You can use these patterns in a whole song. You could do it like that. Or you can actually drag those patterns out onto your timeline of your DAW. So that's what I actually did. And I'm going to play you another demo where I had a little bit of fun with that. So again, I kind of feel that if you just want to kind of get that groove going with something like that, I've chosen to make it a kind of a funky guitar part. And once you've got a vocal over the top of that and some other instruments, I think if you spent some time on it, you could make it pretty convincing. I didn't spend much time on it, so I think the whole thing took me about 10 minutes to put that together, quite repetitive. So it's important to put variations and things like that in there. Now, all I actually did with that was I took one of the existing patterns, and I don't think it was this one, but I'll use it as a demonstration. You can actually just grab that and then drag it out onto your timeline. I then went into that with the piano roll, and I just adjusted a few things and customized it to my particular little groove which was happening there. So quite a useful thing to use, and quite an easy way of getting something going. So lots and lots and lots of features in this plugin, guys. Way too many for me to go into. My overall feeling with it is it's really for that kind of person who wants to go really, really deep into what they're doing and really detailed to try and get the best. You have to know your stuff with it. You have to learn about it a little bit, but I do believe you'll get really, really good, convincing results if you spend some time with it. So folks, I hope this review of RealStrat by MusicLab was useful to you, and if you're in the market for a virtual guitar, then I do think that this has to be one of your major contenders. Now, if you'd like to get your hands on one of these for free, or one of the other instruments from MusicLab's collection, then you can do that in the giveaway this week, and I'm going to tell you how to enter for that right now. Step 1, I want you to tell me in the comments below what is your favourite guitar solo played on a Fender Stratocaster, what artist, what song, and why you like that particular solo. Step 2, I need you to subscribe to this channel, and there's a really, really good reason for that, because in step 3, you'll need to ring the bell on YouTube so that you get a notification about our announcement video to tell you who has won this giveaway. Now, I will be making that announcement at some point in the next couple of weeks, so by the end of February 2019. So keep your eyes peeled on YouTube and look out for that announcement video. In the meantime, do take care of yourself, and I will see you next week.